Okay, so another brief tutorial on updating your Joomla website. In this case, it's the property component that we use as we have a few clients using this. I thought it might be handy to do a tutorial on it. First thing you need to do is log into the administration area of the website. Once you're logged in, if you wait a few seconds, a message will appear at the top that says view updates or update Joomla if Joomla requires update. If you're not on a maintenance contract, then you'll have to update this yourself, and it's really quite easy. You just click the button that says view updates and it will show you which updates are required. In this case, I think it's Akiba, the backup component. So just click that and then click update, and that will update for you automatically. There we go. So everything's updated. If I go back to control panel, I'm just going to scroll down here. On the left hand side, it says the backup is up to date, Joomla is up to date, and all extensions are up to date. So I'm happy, everything's up to date. Okay, first things first, the property component. So the property component we use is OS Solution Property, and we're going to go to the configuration, and I'm just going to walk through the configuration tabs, I should say. So you'll see here we have the business name. You put your business name in there, of course. Business address, contact details, etc. There's a small section here for some intro text on the home page. That's more or less the about us, your value statement, if you like, what you do that nobody else does, why people should use you, etc. And you've got other options here, such as spam detection, etc., which is already configured, and reporting, which is already configured. And if we go up to the top here, we have other options. So for example, the number of properties per page, the date and time format, in this case it's day, month, year, which is correct. Countries that will be used in OS property, well, United States is wrong, of course, so we're going to add Spain. There we go. We want Bootstrap because it helps with the layout, and all the other settings there we need as well for the layout. Lazy load especially because it speeds up the delivery of the website. The currency settings, obviously we're not in Argentina. Euro member countries, there we go. Show currency conversion, which is great. We want the currency position after the price, so it shows the euro symbol after the price. And everything else on there should be okay. The Google Maps API key we can sort out later, that's not a problem. Okay, so we'll just save that before we go ahead. And let's have a look at the properties configuration. So do we want to auto approve a new property? Well, I would say yes, because it's not an agency website. And all the other information in there we can change. So for example, how we want the address to appear when people are looking, the prefix for the reference, so we can just put nothing in there and then it will just have a numeric reference for the property. And there are other things as well, like was it just added, do we want an icon, was it just updated, does it use energy and climate certificates, do we want those to be displayed, and then the values for those as well. Do we want to know how many rooms it has? Fractional baths is an odd one. I've never used that on any website, but it's there. You know, maybe you've got a partial bath in a house, I don't know. And various other options. You know, whether you want the units of measurement to be acres or hectares, for example. Do you want to display rural information? Maybe you do. Do you want social sharing? Do you want Twitter in the property details, for example? And lots of other options down there as well. So those are really for if you want to configure the social sharing element of the website. To do that, you would need an API for each individual platform. And if we go back up to the top here on the right hand side, we will see that there's some other options. Alert email setting. Well, we don't use this because we actually have an email system installed, so we don't need that. Commenting system, do we want that? Do we want to auto approve? Well, no, because people can use it for spamming. How do we want to export data? CSV field separator is comma. We can change that if we want to, but typically it's a comma, hence comma separated value, CSV. And some other options here as well. For example, show the walked score tab, which is interesting. You can have a look at that yourself and see what you think. Education integration, we haven't included that because I don't even think the schools are in the database. Can people export to PDF? Can they output the property, print it out? Do you want to show related properties? How many columns, etc. And there's also a Facebook auto posting feature, which again we need to create an API for that, and we haven't got that configured for this platform. So I'll save again to save any changes. And you'll see here we have another tab for payment and expiration. This is more for when you are using the website as a property portal, as we do with dreamhomestenerife.com. We charge people for the privilege of using the system. In your case, this won't be required. Layouts, you can change the layouts here. You can change, for example, how many columns you have in the category, in the property details, what is displayed and what isn't displayed. And you can even get down to, not showing the rating of the property or how many rooms or bathrooms the property has, etc. Other options that need to be completed or looked at are company. When somebody registers, do you want them to register the company, etc. The different types of users that can be allowed to register, etc. And the various user fields that they can have. Images, the dimensions of the images. Generally by default this is okay. Occasionally we do need to change it. And then currencies. So we have pretty much every currency published here, and we don't need them all published. So we can go through these and we just pick the ones that we want to publish. I would imagine it would be Euro and Pound, UK Pound. Other than that, I don't think any other currencies would be needed. But if you want to add them later, you can add them here. And that's pretty much it for the property component. Once that's configured, you just simply go to property information, manage properties, and we start adding properties in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do here is click new and add a new property. Now there are certain fields that are required. We can't add a property until we have these fields completed. Property title is an obvious one. However, for optimization purposes, my suggestion would be that you put something very descriptive. So for example, 3-bed apartment in Los Cristianos, and it asks you to select a user because there has to be a user tied to that property to receive communications from people who are looking. And it says here that there are no users available. The reason why is because we haven't set up any agents. So let's go back to the configuration tab or configuration options and select manage users. No users listed. So let's create a new one. Let's make him an agent. And it's saying here select the Joomla user. So I'm going to select that particular Joomla user. And we don't need to fill anything else in here as far as I'm aware. So let's see if we can just save and close that. It's asking us for a username. Okay, so we'll add a username. And it's asking us for an email, even though that user has an email. Okay. So we'll just add that user's email in there. Paste. There we go. So that at a very basic level is all we need to put in to add a user to the system. As you've probably noticed, this is a fresh installation of the property component. So there will be a couple of other things I'll need to add, but I want to walk through those step by step. So again, we try to add a new property. And it's asking me for the user again, so now we should have a user there that we can pick. We do, so we pick that user, and it's asking us for a category. Well, there's no categories selected, so we have to go back and create those. So we go back to the configuration options, manage categories, new category. One of the things we did over at Dream Homes Tenerife is we actually built up the categories from scratch. So I'm going to bring that website over and display it. So you'll see here we have various different types of categories available. And I'm going to take one category there, copy that, and put it straight in here. There we go. We can have images and various other things, description for it, and all the optimization, the metadata, etc. But at a basic level, all we need is the name. That's it. So I'll close that and back to property. So let's see if we can add that property now. You don't need to put a reference in, although if you have a property reference, you can put that in. So there we go. Select the user again, Mr. Wayne Parsley, and I'll try. I can't copy the email address from there, so I'll copy that from elsewhere. Here we go. Okay, category, apartment. Property type is for rent. And I think, without checking, that's the minimum information we need. Let's see. It's asking me for the address. I'm just going to put a space in there. And that should allow us to save. Let's see. It's telling us we need a small description. So I'm just going to put in a small description. Okay, so that is allowing us to add the property now. Now, one of the other things we will need to add are states, provinces, and things like that. So if we go to location now and say manage countries, let's just make sure Spain is in the country list. I believe it is already by default, it is. And now let's go to manage states and provinces. There isn't any state or province listed, so we'll click new. Make sure it's in Spain, and we'll give it, for example, Arona. Technically it should be Santa Cruz de Tenerife, and it should cover the entire island, and then we have various ayuntamientos within that. But the way that we've configured this over on Dream Homes Tenerife, if I remember correctly, is the same way. Yeah, so we have all the various areas listed there. If I find Arona, for example, we'll see there, I've put AA as the state code, so I can just put that straight in there, save and close, and then go to manage cities. Okay, so let's do the same here, manage cities, and let's pick a state, Arona for example, and you'll see that we have all these towns within that. So you'll see one of the towns that we have within the state of Arona is Los Cristianos. So let's add that to our website, and you can add these as you go along. Country, Spain, you don't have to add them all at the same time. Save and close. So let's go back into that property now and see if those fields are available. There should be. So if we go to the address and we say state or province is Arona, which is good, it's already picked that up, and we say Christianos. Now for the region, I always put the same, and there's a reason for this. It gets displayed in the metadata that the search engines look for. Show the address, yes. And the only other things missing are photos. So we have some. They're not the photos of the exact property, but there's a number of different options here. We can upload a photo and then click add photo and choose the file and go and find it. We can select a batch upload where we just upload multiple photos at the same time, or we can drag and drop. So I'm going to use that feature now because I have these images already open. So I'm going to grab one and put it over there, then another, then another, then another, and one final one. And then I'm going to let it upload. And you'll see it's uploading each image individually. It'll give me a green bar when it's done. And that's done. Okay, so those pictures are there now. You'll see those loading. And we can put a description in for each, which I would suggest you do. Let's just save that. Okay, so what you'll see now when we go to the home page is that that property should be listed at the top here. And there's different layouts we can use for this, but until we have 3, 5, maybe 10 properties in, we can't really start playing with the layout and the design of the site. So once we've got a few properties in there, we can start playing with this. But something else I wanted to show you before we moved on is if we go back to the properties pages and just select manage properties and pull up the property in question, there's a lot of options available to us that we haven't yet gone through. For example, number of rooms, number of bathrooms, number of bedrooms, the type of parking available, the building information if you want to put that. We can also put basement, foundation information, land information, business information if it's a business property, the energy and climate information of course, and further down we've got some other information that we can insert. So we need a small description, a brief description for the property, but we also need a full description, details of the property. And you can even put, for example, if you want to go up here, the metadata information. So you can actually have, instead of the standard 3-bed apartment in Los Cristianos, you can change this to wonderful 3-bed apartment in Los Cristianos, for example. And you can put your own meta description in. There's other things as well, like convenience. Does it have cable internet? Does it have a satellite dish? Does it have a grill top, dishwasher, freezer, microwave? And we can add things to this as well. The key thing is, if you do not put a tick in, for example, central air or central vac or jacuzzi tub, it won't actually show that section interior amenities. If we put a tick in lawn, for example, I'll show you on the property site, on the page, it actually displays that. And then we have neighbourhood information. So, is there a shopping centre? If so, how many minutes by walk or by car, etc. Is there a coffee shop? Is there a beach? We could say that's 20 minutes walking. So let's just save this, and then we'll go back to the property page, reload it. And like I say, the display isn't fantastic with the default layout. We can change this, so wouldn't get too hung up on that. We can play with different designs. And we'll see here we've got the features tab. So it tells us we have a satellite dish, cable internet. The beach is only 20 minutes by walk, and as you'll notice here, we put that. So let's try the bus station. Let's say the bus station's only 10 minutes away. Save that, close that, and then we'll refresh the property page and go back to features, and you'll see now it's added that the bus station is 10 minutes and the beach 20. And it says the bus station is 10 minutes by, but doesn't say how. and it's because we forgot to put something in there. So we just click walk, save and close, and then refresh this page again, and you'll see there it's got 20 minutes by walk, and 10 minutes by walk for the bus station, 20 minutes by walk for the beach. Okay, that should keep you going for a little while, get some properties on there. The only other thing would be for the example, the services and other pages, and we have some tutorials on those as well, which I'm going to pass to you.